The crew lounge was a stark, utilitarian space metal chairs with worn cushions, a small table littered with playing cards, and a vending machine humming in the corner. A muted television mounted on the wall replayed grainy news footage, but no one was paying attention. Harker sat in a corner chair, phone in hand. The hum of the vending machine and the faint buzz of fluorescent lights were the only sounds in the room. He glanced at the clock on the wall. 10:25 p.m. Still time before his shift began. He unlocked his phone, scrolling through messages until he found Claire's. "Call me when you land. Let me know how it's going." For a moment, he debated it. Maybe it was too noisy, or maybe he didn't want to look like the guy who needed to call home the moment things got quiet. But the thought of hearing her voice outweighed the hesitation. The line rang twice before she picked up. Claire's voice cut through the sterile atmosphere of the lounge, filling the space with warmth he didn't realize he craved. Harker sat on the edge of his chair, the crew lounge quiet, except for the faint hum of the rig. The digital clock above the door read 10:25 p.m., giving him just enough time to settle his nerves before his first shift. He pulled out his phone, staring at Claire's message. "Call me when you land. Let me know how it's going." With a deep breath, he pressed the call button. Claire's voice came through. "Harker, finally! I was starting to think you'd forgotten me." Harker replied, "Nah, just been busy getting the lay of the land, or sea, I guess." "It's a lot." Claire asked. "Yeah? What's it like out there?" Harker described. "Massive, noisy, kind of intimidating. The platform's like a floating city, and the machinery... It's a different world, definitely not like anything I've done before." Claire's laugh came through the line, warm and familiar. "You'll handle it, you always do." Harker responded, "I hope so. How's everything at home? How's Jake doing?" She sighed, but it wasn't a bad one. "He's fine. He misses you, though. He was asking if we could FaceTime so he could show you his new dinosaur collection." Harker's chest tightened. "Tell him I'll call as soon as I can." "Does he still think every dino is a T-Rex?" Claire answered. "Pretty much. But he's been telling everyone at school that you're working on a giant robot in the middle of the ocean." Harker chuckled. "A robot? That's not even close." Claire replied. "Try telling him that. He's convinced you're going to bring it home when you're done." Harker sighed. "Guess I've got some big shoes to fill." He glanced at the clock. 10:35 p.m. Claire added, "You always do. But you should know he's proud of you. We both are." Her words landed harder than he expected, a mix of warmth and guilt tightening his throat. Harker said, "I miss you guys. It's only been a day, and I already hate being away." Claire reassured, "We miss you too. But you're doing this for us, and we get that. Just don't forget to take care of yourself, okay?" Harker promised. "I won't." They talked for a few more minutes, sharing little updates about Jake's latest drawings, and Claire's attempts at fixing the leaky faucet in the kitchen. The digital clock ticked to 10:50 p.m. Harker said, "I should probably get going." Claire agreed. "Yeah, don't want to be late on your first night. Call when you can and we'll set up that FaceTime for Jake." Harker concluded, "Deal. Love you." Claire replied, "Love you too." As the call ended, he sat for a moment, staring at the dark screen. The rig's hum seemed louder now, almost like a heartbeat. He checked the clock, 10:55 p.m., and stood, slipping the phone into his pocket. It was time to get to work. As the call ended, Harker sat for a moment, staring at his phone screen. The lounge felt emptier now, the hum of the vending machine and the flicker of the television suddenly more grating. He slipped the phone back into his pocket and stood, stretching as he prepared to leave. He poured himself a cup of coffee before he left the crew lounge. The weight of the rig seemed heavier now, the miles of water beneath him a constant reminder of how far he was from home. Stepping out into the hallway, the cold metal beneath his boots sent a chill up his spine. He squared his shoulders and headed toward the control room. Time to meet the crew and see what the midnight shift had in store.